Are you looking to move to Brisbane? Or maybe you're looking to invest? Today we're going to look at Brisbane's best suburbs for 2019. Let's go.
Number 1, Brisbane's best suburbs to live. So Jaden, where are some of the best suburbs to look for in Brisbane from a lifestyle point of view?
Well, it's crazy. Brisbane's population is set to increase to over 3 million people by 2035. So, based on a report by PwC, they looked at the best suburbs to live, work, and play in. And they used a bunch of different criteria, like being able to have access to public transport, being able to have access to hospitals, and, on the weekend, having somewhere fun to go. And it's crazy. They actually correlated and looked at this. And a few of them are actually suburbs you'd be quite surprised to see. So, in the live section, they looked at access to essential services, healthcare, and education. So Nathan, what suburbs were at the top of Brisbane's best suburbs to live in, according to PwC?
Toowong, Coorparoo, Tarragindi and Mount Gravatt were some of the ones highest rated in the report.
Wow, so there's some good places to live just because they've got access to hospitals, schools, and good educational centres. So if you're looking at that, they're the places to live.
So Jaden, why was Brisbane City, North Lakes, Newstead and Springfield Lakes highly rated in the report as well?
So they were actually categorised as the best places to work at. Now, this means that, places like Brisbane City and Newstead, I guess that makes sense because there's work hubs nearby. But places like North Lakes and Springfield Lakes were really highly rated because they've been turned into almost satellite cities like Parramatta and Sydney. So there's a lot of work options there. And in terms of workability and having access to a job, they're the suburbs you should look out for if you want to move. And finally, the play section. So these are the suburbs that in the report they thought it was best placed for parks, places to refresh and really get away from work. So Nathan, which were those suburbs?
They were South Bank, Woolloongabba, Kelvin Grove including Hurston, Brisbane City and Fortitude Valley.
So they're places you can really, cut footloose and have fun and go out and play. And there's a bunch of parks there as well, which you can really enjoy. If you check out our website, we've got access to the report anyway, and you can look at the full list, including where the best places to live, work and play are in Brisbane.
So Jaden, we've looked at the best places to work, play and live. Now, where are the best places to invest in Brisbane? Where are we going to get the most growth?
Yeah, so this is a tough one because obviously no one's got a crystal ball. And like we've covered in our previous videos on property market research, property market growth is really determined by a bunch of different factors. But we're going to really look at just one of those factors that can really drive property growth, and that's population growth. Because after all, property comes back to supply and demand. So the more demand for property there is, the less supply, it puts pressure on the prices, and they eventually go up. So we've looked at a property from Michael Matuzik from Matuzik Property Consultants, and they've looked at the growth of suburbs in southeast Queensland over the next few years. So anyway, the suburbs listed, and we'll show you on the screen now, account for over 40% of southeast Queensland's population growth over the next while. At the top of the list, there's Ripley, Jimboomba, Caloundra West, Pimpama, Coorparoo. Now, like you can see, they're all places that are a bit further out, and that's why they can support a bit more population growth. But it's still not forgetting some other suburbs around inner Brisbane, including Newstead and Bowen Hills, which we've mentioned before. So these are really good for investment suburbs as well because they're a bit cheaper, because some of those further out places you can buy investment properties for a lot less than you can in a city. So again, it's not really any guarantee, but if you're starting to look out and you're doing some research, these suburbs can be a great guide on where to start looking if you want to buy an investment property in Brisbane.
And lastly,
and just for some fun,
what's the most expensive suburbs in Brisbane predicted for 2019?
Yeah, so this is one of those ones where if you live in Sydney and Melbourne, you're going to probably have a laugh because they're not that expensive. There was the founder, Mike Cannon-Brooks from Atlassian, spent $100 million on a house in Sydney recently. Paid all cash too. So when you compare it to that, Brisbane's a bit of a laugh. But anyway, Brisbane's most expensive suburb with a median house price of $1.7 million is actually New Farm. So it's a pretty cool suburb. It's located within walking distance of the city. There's a huge park in between. There's the Powerhouse Museum. If you've been there, you can kind of see why it's quite nice. It's this cool mix of old Queenslanders and funky new apartments, and definitely one to look out for if you've got some cash and can afford a $1.7 million house. Otherwise, if you like the rest of us, check out some of those other suburbs we mentioned in the Live, Work and Play report, and let us know, where do you live? What do you think is going to be a good suburb? What do you think is going to grow in Brisbane in 2019? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you've got any questions, queries, concerns, feedback, let us know at huntergalloway.com.au.